Okay, so some of you are new, so I am Zulfiquar and I'll take up your Indian economy section. Okay, so I have divided the syllabus of Indian economy in 20 modules, and we will take up actually means all topics which are relevant from prelims as well as main point of view. So our approach will be from prelims some mains, and uh, obviously most of you won't be having background of economics. So our objective will I'll assume that you don't have any background of economics. So we'll start with ABC. Okay, and then we will analyze to the level of this exam. This will be our broad approach, and our coverage will be very comprehensive here in class. So you can solely almost rely on class notes. Okay, no book is needed at the most. You can follow some the study material from which we provide from here. That is almost 80% similar. So if you want, you can follow that. Otherwise, as such, books are not so important, not needed. Even I'll give you full current updates of economic survey, budget, etc. Before prelims, I will give you complete updates. So no need to study any book. If you want, at the most 11th class NCRT. If you want, you can go to 11th class NCRT. No other book. Okay, Indian economic development. Okay, so books in economics, there is a problem. Good books are not available. This is the problem. Like good books which are good, like Datan Sundaram or Mishra Puri are famous good books, but they are written for university examination. They are not very relevant. And the books which are written for this exam, they are not up to the mark. Most of the books are actually not up to the mark. This is the problem. NCRT won't cover major part of your syllabus. NCRT will not cover even one third of the total syllabus. If you go through all NCRT, still it won't cover much syllabus. Okay, so we'll discuss, as I told you, the entire syllabus very comprehensively from prelims from mains point of view. Okay, now we'll start with first chapter, that is economic growth and development. So economic growth and development. Okay, economic growth and development, module one. So overall, as I told you, there are 20 modules. So in this module, we will discuss the basic concepts. So what is meaning of economic growth, meaning of economic development, and inclusive growth, sustainable development, etc. Basic concepts relating to development. Then we will discuss how we measure economic growth. Any idea how we measure economic growth? By GDP. And how we measure economic development? By various indices like Human Development Index and various other indices, happiness indices are there, gender related indices are there. So various indices we will discuss, and we'll discuss where we stand in various indices in the world in level of development. And then we'll discuss factors which affect development. The most important factor is investment or capital formation. So we'll discuss the issues. A lot of actually concern is there regarding investment. Investment has reduced now somewhat in the after global financial crisis. So issues relating to that. And some goals have been fixed. Developmental goals have been fixed at global level. What are those goals? Goals at global level. Sustainable development goals. So briefly, SDGs and our policy towards SDGs. And before that, there were MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. So briefly, these. Okay. So in this chapter, we will discuss the growth and development concept and assessment. Okay. So we will start with basic concepts. So first section. Yeah, but here basic concepts we will discuss relating to growth and development only. Although basics of finance will be somewhat different. Okay, so here we will discuss basic concepts mainly relating to growth and development. Okay, rather before even basic thing, we first of all we shall discuss what is meaning of economics. What is economics? So what is economics? Any idea? What we study in simple words, production consumption mainly. Economics deals with productive activity. Can we say economics is the study of money? Uh, no, not money. Money is very narrow. Economy could be there without money, like barter system. Economy deals with production of goods and services, use of resources. So write down simple definition of economics to mention that it is the study of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services in a society. In a society. So what is economics? It is the study of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services in a society. So in simple words, actually, productive activities are studied in economics: production, distribution of goods and services. And there is one definition: say economics is it is science of wealth. Another definition mentions it is science of wealth. It is science of wealth. So who gave this definition? Adam Smith. Who is Adam Smith? Yes, father of economics, not micro, father of economics or modern economics even. Adam Smith. So Adam Smith gave this definition, science of wealth. What is meaning of wealth? Wealth means here he meant mainly goods and services, like we are producing various goods actually. So that is if wealth means the goods and services which we are producing. So the definition is the science of wealth. So actually economics is science. Yes or no? Hmm? No. Economics is not science. Economics is social science. This is not correct actually. So economics is social science. Why? Because it deals with human behavior, human beings. So that is social science. And that is why different economics they have same opinion or variations are there. Variations are there because it is not pure science. Lot of things are interrelated, interdependent. So economics is actually social science. Even in social sciences, definitions are rigid or flexible. Are flexible. Even the various definitions when we say closed economy. So we mean no economic relation with the rest of the world. But practically, even if the relations are less, import export is less, still we may say it is a closed economy. Okay, so definitions are slightly flexible in economics. Practically, we use in very flexible manner because it deals with human behavior, and that is obviously flexible. So technically, economics is not science. What is core concern of economics? So mainly production and distribution of goods and services. Main thing. Now, what is core concern? What do you define? Core concern of economics? Allocation of resources. To produce anything, do we need some resources? Resources like land, labor, machinery, factory, raw materials, natural resources. So resources actually, if we need resources to produce something or distribute something, yes or no? So and resources are more or less limited, unlimited, limited, limited. Why limited in absolute term or relative term? Relative. In relation to which thing resources are scarce? In relation to our need, because human beings are very greedy. They want more and more. Whatever is there, everything is short in relation to our need. Actually, we need more and more things. So that is why resources are scarce in relation to our demand or need. Actually. So that is why now since resources are limited, and if we are producing something, do we need some resource like to produce podium? We need like wood. Now, if we start making podium only by wood, so can we say we have to forego wood for other uses? Yes, and wood is limited resource. So we have to make an optimal use of resource wood or not. Yes. So focus of economics is on what? On optimal use of resources, and because resources are limited. Okay. So in other words, mention this. It is concerned with it is concerned with optimal allocation of scarce resources. It is concerned with the optimal allocation of scarce resources. Optimal allocation of scarce resources to maximize which thing we have to maximize. What is ultimate objective? Now, optimal means which thing? We have to maximize profit, satisfaction. Hmm? Which thing? Profit, efficiency, uh, satisfaction means welfare. Which one? Profit maximization or efficiency or welfare? Ultimate welfare. Objective is to enhance well-being of people. Okay, to maximize human material well-being. Well, to maximize human material well-being. So human material well-being. Okay, so focus on well-being of people, welfare, and which aspect of welfare mainly? Which aspect mainly? Material well-being. And what kind of goods and services we shall provide to people so that well-being of people should improve. So focus is actually on enhancing well-being and mainly by material things. Actually, focus on materialistic things here. Okay, and for enhancing well-being, do we have to use resources efficiently or not? Yes, efficiency is one of the means to enhance well-being of people. First of all, we shall allocate resources properly. We shall produce those goods which will give maximum satisfaction to people. One thing. Second thing is that we shall use resources efficiently. Only then well-being should be improved. So, ultimate objective of economics or any economic activities is what to enhance well-being of people. Okay, and to enhance well-being, resources are to produce anything. We have resources, but limited resources are there. So, do we have to make optimal use? Obviously, yes. So focus of economics is on optimization or economizing the use of resources. Now, just assume one aspect. Okay, let us suppose resources may be unlimited. So we could have produced everything then in unlimited quantity. Then did we needed economization, optimization? No, what is needed? We could have produced everything in limited quantity. So why we need to study economics? Because of mainly scarcity, because of scarcity of resources. Okay. So some authors have defined in terms of it is a means science of decision making in the presence of scarcity. So it is actually focused on optimization. Okay, this is meaning of economics. So means mainly productive activities are included. And there are two major branches of economics. What are the branches? One is microeconomics, other branch is macroeconomics. What is meaning of micro? Micro means small and macro means large. So micro, small, macro, large. What we study in microeconomics? Huh. Can we say small unit? No. Micro means small, but doesn't mean we study small unit. We study individual unit. One unit is studied, and here we study economic system overall, entire economy as a whole. So mention basic definition. Microeconomics. Mention that it is a branch of economics. It is a branch of economics that studies the behavior of branch of economics that studies the behavior of individual economic units. Branch of economics that studies the behavior of individual economic units. That studies the behavior of individual economic units. So that studies the behavior of individual economic unit means one economic unit is studied. Example, income of a person, output of a firm, price of a product. So you can see one unit is studied, income of a person, output of a firm, how much firm should produce output to maximize profit, how firm should try to fix price of a product, so price of a product, one unit is studied. In macro, so mention macroeconomics, so mention that it studies an economic system as a whole. Macroeconomics, it studies an economic system as a whole. Okay, also mentioned that is it takes into account studies economic system as a whole. That is, it takes into account overall aggregates. It takes into account overall aggregates and averages of an economy. 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 Example: national income. Overall aggregates and averages of an national income. Okay, GDP, price level, etc. Okay, you can see the comparison here. I give you example here: income of a person, and when we add up income of all people of a country, we get national income. So this is what aggregate. This is output of one firm. When we add a value of output of all firms, is we get GDP. So these two are what aggregate. And here price of a product. And what is meaning of price level? Price level means average price. So this is actually average. So either we study aggregates of the economy or averages of the economy. Okay, so how we study economic system as a whole? Either by adding up aggregates or by averages of an economy. Uh, Averages and aggregates. So aggregates like these and averages. For example, when we say inflation, what does it mean? If we say last month inflation was 3%, so what means price means that was price of any one good or all goods? That is average actually. So average, and what is inflation? Increase in price level in an economy is inflation. Increase in price level is average price of all goods and services increase. So that is actually average. So that is inflation is micro or macro? Macro, because average actually overcut into entire economy. Okay, so I think difference must be clear in micro and macro. Here one individual unit is studied, and here entire economic system as a whole, entire economy is studied in macro. Okay, so um, and can we say whenever we are talking about aggregate, it must always be macroeconomic? If I talk about actually aggregate production of markers in India, so it should be micro or macro. Total production of aggregate production of markers in India, micro or macro? Micro production of markers, one product. So aggregates may be studied here, but normally we don't study aggregates here. Usually not studied. Usually aggregates are studied here, but we cannot say that aggregate cannot be studied in micro. It should be pertaining to one thing, like production of marker, one particular product. Then it will be this, actually micro also. But usually aggregates are studied here. Clear? Basic difference is here. Now, in class, as I told you, NCRT book. In class 11, there is a book I told you, Indian Economic Development. If you want, you can go through it. Other is in class 12. In class 12, there are two books. What are the books? Books are actually the same, micro and macro. Microeconomics and macro. Okay, so which book or which branch of economics is more relevant for you? So as far as Indian economy, so your syllabus is Indian economy. We have to take up Indian economy. So obviously it's relevant. If you want, you can go through. Some basic things are there in there. Okay, and macro, out of this, which is more relevant? Macro, because you have to study overall economic system of the country. In micro, mainly the theories are there. So these are not directly very important. So you need not require to go through this book. Okay, the micro is not needed. Okay, reason is that theories etc. are not asked actually, basic concept theories. But although some basic concepts are important, so we will take up actually in one chapter. Out of these 20 modules, module 3 is on microeconomics. So in third module, we will discuss some basic concepts of microeconomics and their applications also. Okay, sometime because in prelim some term may be asked basic concept. So for that purpose we will discuss. And one reason more why we will discuss, because few concepts without understanding basic, it is difficult to analyze the Indian economy also, overall economic system also is difficult without having basic idea like demand supply. So in one module only we will take up this, and that is from the aspect because in class we will discuss much beyond that. Hardly one fourth, one third you will find in any chapter in this book. So class notes will be much more comprehensive. So hardly you find anything. Okay. Problem is that you will find basic concepts only. Like you will find what is budget, what are types of receipts, expenditures, budgetary deficits, only this. But you have to go much beyond that. You have to see implications of each deficit. You should know the trends of deficits in India, why deficits increase, what constraints are faced by government in reducing them, what are fiscal reforms, so various reforms actually, and even taxation. So lot of things you have to study. Central state financial relations, finance commissions, cooperative federalism, competitive federalism, lot of things you have to study, special category states. You won't find anything in this. So they have given the basic concept. But we have to see actually the practical aspect because questions are on that aspect. As far as basic concept is concerned, we will take away rather in more detail whatever is there in this. So hardly you need to go through this. So not needed. Okay, this is not relevant as such. This is not. It is too less actually, and this is only basic concept is here because questions are from the applied aspect in the economy. Okay, so this book, if you want, you can go through. Okay, otherwise just class notes will be sufficient. Clear? So this is the economics and two major branches. Although there are some other branches also like uh, developmental economics or international economics. Okay, various other branches are there. These are two important branches. Now we have used the word economy, Indian economy. So what is? Can you tell me difference in economics and economy? What is economy? Any idea? On the basis of common sense, very simple. Economy is applied form of economics. Anybody? No, no, not much. Economy is a system. So economy means macroeconomics. Very simple, common sense logic. In English, you can interpret. Economy means production and distribution. Very simple. Hmm. So what is economy? So that is also in the study in economics. Economy simply means economic activities in a particular region. Is it correct? We are saying Indian economy. So economic activities in India. Yes, economy means economic activities in a given region. Economic activities means production distribution of goods and services in a given region is economy. Whatever productive activities are there in India, that is Indian economy. Okay, or you mentioned this thing, economy means what? That economic activities in a given region. Economic means economic activities in a given region. Economic activities means in simple word productive activities or production distribution of goods and services in a given region. So can we say like Indian economy means productive activities in India? Can the economy be of a particular maybe a city? Yes, economy of Delhi or economy of this region or a state. It could be of any region. Okay, so this is basic means what is economics and economy. Okay, so now next we come to this chapter now. So now basic concept of relation to this chapter, economic growth, economic growth. So first we can start with economic growth. Rather, first concept in this. So what is economic growth? Any idea? Increase in GDP? Yes. In all other simple words, increase in production? Yes, simply. Increase in production is economic growth. So mention this simple definition. It refers to the process of increase in production. It refers to increasing process of increasing production of goods and services in an economy. Process of increase in production of goods and services in an economy over a long period of time. 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 Increase in production of goods and services in an economy over a long period of time. Okay, so normally when we say growth, usually we express over a long period of time, but long period is not very rigid. As I told you, economics is not science. So normally when we compare growth of any month or any year, what is base for that? Base is usually the last year. It's the same month of last year or same financial year, last financial year. So usually supposed to be long term actually we say, but not specific any time period is not mentioned. So it is the process of increasing production of goods and services in an economy over a long period of time. That is economic growth. Can we say it is same as increase in GDP? Yes, production is increasing, GDP will increase. So mention the second definition. It refers to persistent increase in real GDP or real per capita income. It refers to persistent increase in real GDP or real per capita income. Persistent increase in real GDP or real per capita income. What is real GDP? Actually, whenever we talk about growth, we always talk about real. We don't say GDP. We say real GDP. Any idea what is meaning of real GDP or real per capita income? Any idea? Means we should eliminate which thing? Impact of inflation. For example, last year the quantity we produce is 100 goods and price was this. Let us suppose in a country only 100 goods were produced, only one good produced. Let us suppose pen produced, so 100 pen produced. Okay, last year. Okay, maybe let us suppose in 2018 and in 2019 in this country the production remains same but price increased. Okay, what will be GDP then? Value of goods produced in a country? 1000. Now next year will be 1100. So value of goods produced was 100 into 10, 1000, and now it is 100 into 11. So this year GDP will increase to this. Okay? Is it actual growth? Economy is growing. Can we conclude? But GDP has increased. So, but GDP has increased. So what is this? It has increased because of what? Only price increase. So it is actually money value has increased, but actual production didn't increase. So real growth, when we say real, we actually have to eliminate impact of inflation. Logic is clear? So when we say real growth, so is it real growth? Yes or no? No, this is not real growth. There will be real growth only when production will increase. Clear? So this is meaning of real. Or real per capita income means average income. Real per capita income means average income. Let us suppose average income of people may increase by 10%. Okay, average income may increase by 10%, and inflation may be 10% in that year. Okay, for example, your salary was 50,000, now increase to 55,000. Okay, 10%. Now you have 10% more money, and value of money has reduced by 10% because inflation is 10%. Now can you buy more goods and services? No, why? Because you have 10% more money and value of money has reduced by 10%. So your real income has increased or not? Real per capita income not increased. So what the point? So real per capita income means your actual purchasing power should increase. You should buy more goods and services from your income. So it means that we have to eliminate inflation. Then we should real. So shall we use this word real or not? Is it needed or not? Yes, because otherwise it may seem that GDP may increase, but real GDP will increase when actual production will increase. Okay, and real per capita income will increase when people can buy more goods and services with their income in real terms, actual terms. So real meaning is clear. So this is meaning of economic growth, increase in production. So both definitions are similar or not? Increase in production of goods and services over a long period of time, and second definition, increase in real GDP or real per capita income. Both are somewhat almost similar. In first definition, I have used the word over a long period, and in second definition, I have used the word persistent increase. So both are similar actually. These are very general definitions. Okay, that is meaning of economic growth. Now, second concept is economic development. Economic development. So what is difference? Can you tell me what is economic development? Hmm? This economic growth will welfare, correct? The welfare should also improve. Yes or no? Yes, actually welfare should also improve. So here it is only production increase, and here actually welfare. So growth along with welfare. So means in the simple definition, it refers to that process of economic growth. It refers to that process of economic growth. It refers to that process of economic growth which is accompanied by that process of economic growth which is accompanied by improvement in well-being of people, which is accompanied by improvement in well-being of people, which is accompanied by improvement in well-being of people. Means that process of economic growth which is accompanied by improvement in well-being means production should increase as well as welfare should improve. That is economic, and welfare should improve means well-being improvement. Like an example, like level of education or health status should improve, poverty should reduce, inequality should reduce. That is actually development. Okay. Also, one more definition. It refers to progressive changes. It refers to progressive changes in the socio-economic structure. Progressive changes in the socio-economic structure of an economy. Socio-economic structure of an economy. It refers to progressive changes in the socio-economic structure of an economy. So progressive changes in the socio-economic structure of an economy. So that is another definition. So what are progressive economic changes? What are changes in economic structure? Progressive changes in economic structure of an economy. Like learn education, no, economic, increase in income, increase in production, increase in productivity, shifting of labor from agriculture to industry and services. So that is economic changes in means progressive changes in economic structure. Now, what are progressive social changes in social structure? Like education, health, poverty, you can put in that. So socio-economic. So overall, progressive changes in socio-economic structure of an economy. That is economic development. So can we say both definitions are same or different? Like progressive change in socio-economic development, and here said production along with welfare, both are similar. So this is the basic difference. Although economists were not making distinction between these two concepts in 1950s, this distinction was created in 1950s. Now both are entirely different. Okay, now I will discuss few more points of distinction between them. This is the basic definition. Rather, you just make a table actually. Okay, economic growth and economic development. Okay, to just make a table. Okay, so economic growth means what? Increase in production, which I have dictated. Okay, I'm writing in short. Okay, production increase means economic growth, and economic development means production should increase plus what? Plus social welfare. Okay, so this is the point I have already dictated in definition. In short, I have written. Okay, other is economic growth. Can we measure this with perfection? Can we measure with recession? Can we quantify? Yes. Okay, so can you tell me last financial year what was growth of Indian economy? Acha, last year means what? Last financial year means which financial year? 2000? 18, 19. Now, which is current financial year now? 1920. So, current financial year started on which date? 1st April 2019 and will end on 31st March 2020. So, current financial year is this. And the previous financial year is 2018-19. It started on 1st April 2018 and ended on 31st March 2019. So, what was our growth in this financial year? How much? 6.8. So, can we quantify? What does mean? In this year, we have produced 6.8% more goods and services as compared to last year. Yes, as compared to last year. Last year is 2017-18. Okay, so in this year, we produced 6.8% more goods and services as compared to last year in real terms, actually. I think it is clear. So what is meaning of growth? So can we quantify this or not? Yes, just we have quantified this. Okay, last year we produced 6.8% more goods and services as compared to previous year. So it is quantitative concept. Quantitative concept. Okay, so quantitative means it can be quantified, means measured with perfection. And economic development, can we quantify this? Can we say development increased by 3%, 5%? No, we cannot quantify. So this is actually qualitative. We can say improvement or deterioration, qualitative. So it is qualitative concept because we can say improved, deteriorated. Okay, so we cannot say, can we what use increase in welfare? No, it is not appropriate. We can say improvement, not increase actually, because increase or decrease is used for a quantitative thing. So it is qualitative. Or is it qualitative or both? Quantitative as well as qualitative. Why? Both quantitative, qualitative, both or only qualitative? Concept is one or how many concepts are there? One or more? Concept is only one term, two, one. I have written number one concept. We have discussed second concept. So this is only one concept. However, it has various dimensions. One dimension, social welfare has this dimension. It has some dimensions like education, health, etc. So it should be clear. Concept is one only. Overall, can we quantify? No. So what is quantitative? Some dimensions can be quantified. But overall concept cannot be quantified. So this is a mistake. Even some books they have mentioned this. In some books they have mentioned it's quantitative as well as qualitative. What's the point? So concept is one. How it could be both? Some of these dimensions are quantitative. Like this dimension is quantitative, but most of the dimensions are not quantitative. And it has two dimensions, one or two or many. How many dimensions are there? Many. This welfare, social welfare itself is multi-dimensional concept, like education, health, environment, political factors. Lot of things, lot of dimensions are there for welfare. Lot of dimensions are there. So this is actually what the point here. Some dimensions can be quantified, but not all dimensions. Overall concept is qualitative. So logic is clear or not? So it is wrong to take a quantitative as well as qualitative. As I told you, there is some mistake in some books actually. In one book rather I saw, not much book. So it is actually qualitative also. Now, how many dimensions are there in economic growth? How many? Very simple, just single, that is production. So unidimensional. And how many dimensions? Two or many? Many. So multi-dimensional. So it is a multi-dimensional concept. Okay, as I told you, okay, education, health, poverty, etc., environment, etc., will come under all our dimensions of this because all these things will affect economic development, welfare. Clear? Now, economic growth. Can it be ultimate objective of an economy? Can it be ultimate objective? Objective aspect? Yes or no? Hmm? Can be just objectives just to produce? No, it is just a means. We don't want to produce more for the sake of production. for enhancing human well-being. So this is just a means actually, not an objective. To mention that it is a means, or it is just a means. It is just a means. So economic growth is means. It is not an objective. Can we say economic development can be an objective? Enhancing well-being could be ultimate objective? Yes. So mention that it is an end in itself. So end means objective. So it is an end in itself. So ultimate end or objective of economic activities could be economic development. Okay, so it is just a means and it is an objective in itself. Okay. Now which is easy to achieve? Growth, increasing production is easy. So can we achieve this without development? Yes. So mention this thing. It can be achieved without economic development. It can be achieved without economic development. Clear? So it is easy. Can we achieve economic development without growth? No. So we cannot rule out, but it is very unlikely. It is very rare case we can achieve development without growth. So mention that uh, economic development, it can seldom be achieved. Seldom is rare. SELDOM, seldom. Seldom is very rare. It can seldom be achieved without economic growth. 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 Okay, so it is very means seldom means rare, very rare. Means we cannot rule out, we cannot say it is not possible to achieve this without this, but it is very rare that there could be development without growth. So it can seldom means rare, seldom be achieved without economic growth, or it is unlikely to be achieved without economic growth. Okay, it is unlikely to be achieved. Okay, and finally, indicators. How we measure economic growth? Hmm? GDP. Now there is a correction needed in this. Real. Whenever we talk about GDP, because GDP is increasing here also. Okay, so real GDP. And another real per capita income, PCI. Per capita means average income, national income upon population is per capita income, average income. So real GDP or real per capita income may be used. Now which is more commonly used? Commonly, which one is used? GDP is used. Just like I told you, Indian economy grew at the rate of 6.8% and world economy grew how much last year? Around 3.6%. So, and that was also GDP growth. So world GDP grew at 3.6% last year. Indian economy is 6.8%. So normally this is used, but it may be used. Okay. Now what are indicators for this? The most important indicator is Human Development Index, HDI. Any other or only one? Lot of indicators are there. Like other, multidimensional index of poverty, MPI. The poverty also reflects level of development. Yes or no? Yes, because more poverty means the level of development should be low. Okay, other like some psychological well-being, like World Happiness Report, World Happiness Report. So we will discuss in detail World Happiness Index. Okay, so happiness is what a psychological well-being. So various indices are there. We will discuss separately in detail. So we will discuss in next section rather the factors of economic development. So in first section we should discuss the basic concepts. So we have discussed two concepts: economic growth and economic development. So any doubt in these concepts? Clear? Very simple. Economic. Human development index are quantitative. Yes, certainly it is quantitative. But now question is that is it possible to quantify this? Can we quantify this? No. But HDI tries to quantify this. So this quantification is perfect. HDI is perfect. No. So it is quantitative. But here quantification is not perfect. It's just it is an endeavor to quantify. I will discuss in detail HDI, why it is not perfect and why what issues are there. Okay. Any other doubt? Hmm? I'm now next third topic is inclusive growth only. So one we have discussed economic growth, other we have discussed economic development. Now third concept is inclusive growth. So what inclusive growth? What was your question? Is it same as economic development? Is it same as economic development? Yes or no? Inclusive growth. It is close to economic growth or economic development? Economic development. Now the question is that is it same as uh, economic development or different? Same or different? Hmm? Hmm? Same or not? Yes or no? Okay, so obviously it's not same. Otherwise, why I have mentioned third point? I could have written uh, or this or inclusive growth. So certainly different. So what is different? Can you tell me the main difference in economic development and inclusive growth? Which is broader, inclusive growth or economic development? Development or inclusive growth? Inclusive growth. Why? Hmm? Population, well-being. You mean to say well-being is there in this as well as in this? Development is broader. So it is difficult to answer this question. First, write down definition. So write down one definition. You mentioned that the United Nations Development Program, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP in short. So UNDP is a very important organization we'll be using again and again. The United Nations Development Program, UNDP, defined it as, in inverted commas, it is a process, in inverted commas, it is a process as well as an outcome. It is a process as well as an outcome where all groups of people, process as well as an outcome, where all groups of people have participated, where all groups of people have participated in the organization of growth, where all groups of people have participated in the organization of growth and have benefited and have benefited equitably from it and have benefited equitably from it and have benefited equitably from it, inverted commas close, and have benefited equitably from it. Okay, I repeat the definition. It is a process as well as an outcome where all groups of people have participated in the organization of growth and have benefited equitably from it. Okay, this is definition of inclusive growth as per UNDP. Now, can you tell me difference between inclusive growth and economic development? Which is broader now, inclusive growth or economic development? What is how it is broader? What? No, no. Uh, uh, Economic development also means well-being of people. Does not mean few people only. Participation, yes, the more core element is participation. If people should be participating in the growth process. Okay, so I will make a distinction with them. So, uh, which is broader overall, inclusive growth or economic development? Inclusive growth. Now, now just rather you may make a comparison. Economic development and inclusive growth. Economic development is what? Is a process or outcome. It is an, I told you, it is an end. End means outcome. So it is actually an end. I told you already, it is an end in itself. So what is here? End means what here? Outcome means what outcome we want here? Social welfare or simply welfare? So ultimately, focus of economic development is to enhance welfare. Clear? And what is this inclusive growth? It is an outcome, enhancing well-being. And here, means as well as outcome, both things are there in this. So it is actually a means. Means actually, you know, this process, means of process and outcome. So outcome here is same as welfare, yes or no? So outcome here is welfare or profit or any efficiency, any other thing. Common sense. Here welfare outcome is first we shall discuss outcome means end. So it is a process as well as an outcome, means and outcome. So outcome can be the same as welfare or equally benefit. Everybody will benefit equally. Hmm? Is it practically possible? Everybody will get equal benefit. So shall we include profit here also? Outcome is same or different? I mean to say here outcome is welfare. So here it is same or welfare. What we want, what outcome should be there in this? Welfare plus profit. No, profit is important. You know, from when we say national level, no. Ultimately, welfare. Profit will, because if you are doing business, you are not earning profit, you will be poor. So welfare will include profit, efficiency, everything. So ultimate thing is welfare. Same thing. Outcome cannot be different. Ultimate objective of all economies or every policy is welfare. Welfare of people overall. Welfare. Now means, now here the difference is that the focus is to enhance welfare here only, and here focus is to enhance welfare, and it is also sensitive towards the process. Now what should be process? Process should be participative process. Through a participative process, welfare, it is objective is to enhance well-being, and here to enhance well-being, welfare by a inclusive process, participative process here. So process should be what? Participative. So it means that this is concerned with the enhancing well-being as well as sensitive toward the process of enhancing well-being. In what manner you are enhancing well-being? So well-being should be increased through a participative process. And participative means the focus is on which aspect here? Participative means how people will participate in economic activities. So what is focus here? Participative means what? Focus is on which thing? How people participate through employment. So focus on employment here. If we have to enable people to contribute to economic activities, and they should benefit in that manner, their welfare should increase. Okay. So this concept actually was developed relatively in the last 2 decades, and economists are saying that government should not focus just on enhancing well-being, but government should also be sensitive towards the means of enhancing well-being. It should be up to a participative process. What the point? which uh, growth is expected to be more sustainable. This because when people will start participating, they will get job, then they will continue contribute. They will enhance human capabilities also. Clear? Okay, but the difference is clear. So main here to enhance well-being only, and here is to enhance well-being, but with the inclusive process. So we have to be sensitive toward the process of enhancing welfare also. Both things we have to be concerned. But process is also important or not? And in developed countries, they have become developed. America, Europe, they are developed countries. Okay. So they have become developed countries. The capitalist system has been successful. But do you think the process was just process? There was significant exploitation, class struggle. So they adopted an inclusive growth process. No, actually. So now situation is okay. But about 30, 50, 40, 40, 50 years back, what was the situation? 40, 50, 60 years back, there was significant exploitation of poor people actually. So process was not inclusive. Process was not just actually. So we have to develop, promote and enhance value of people with a just and inclusive process. Was this clear? Okay. Like subsidies and welfare payments like old age pension, widow pension are called redistributive policy. So I will discuss the redistributive policies or measures. अच्छा, redistributive measures, example of redistributive measure is subsidies, welfare payments, to redistributive measures, subsidies. So these measures can achieve enhanced well-being of people. If government will give subsidized food to everybody, very cheap food, and government may to vulnerable sections like old age people, widows, or handicapped, government may transfer money in their account, just like widow pension, disability pension scheme is there. So would it enhance welfare or not, economic development? Yes or no? Yes. Clear? Because those people who are vulnerable, they will at least buy basic amenities. Clear? Now, this thing can achieve inclusive growth also or not? Yes or no? Welfare will increase or not? So inclusive growth will be there or not? No. Well-being will increase, but that is not a process was not participative. Okay, they will not be hungry, they will get basic amenities, but actually the process also has to be, we have to be sensitive to process. Process will not be participative. They did not earn. We government gave them some money so that their well-being improved. They have got access to basic amenities. So redistributive policies, measures like subsidies, welfare payments cannot achieve inclusive. Decentralization and devolution uh, will help in achieving inclusive growth. Yes or no? Yes, why not? Decentralization will help, but it will also help in achieving economic development also. So here, main thing is that the people should contribute to economic development, to this production process, and they should benefit. It should not be freebie given to them, and hence they are getting access to basic amenities. Their well-being may improve. No, they should contribute, and then will should benefit. Manrega to some extent will increase. Now, clear? Okay, so this basic difference I think should be clear. Now, what is core element? What are features or components of so features or components of inclusive growth? Okay, so broad, uh, we can divide this in two categories. So, okay, in some sources they have divided in categories, but I'm dividing categories. Somewhere they have written just what are features. So broad, I am dividing in two categories. One is actually enhance human. Now, how to achieve inclusive growth? So, what are features or what components are there? So, one is human capabilities. One is that we have to enhance human capabilities. Can you tell me how we can enhance human capabilities? No, so does it mean, what does it mean? Can we say human capabilities, and we may call it enhancing employability, enhancing employability. So can we say it means the employment generation? Yes or no? No, it is not employment generation. It means making people capable of doing job, not creating jobs. Employment generation, different thing. Okay, so one thing is increasing employability, and second thing is employment generation. People are educated, healthy, then we have to create job for them and employment generation. So two important components are there. First is that we have to enhance human capabilities, make them employable, and second, now here what is included in this? What are components? So mention few components. In first one, like health, people should be healthy, they should get proper nutrition. People should be educated, people should be skilled, skill development. Okay, so health, education, skill development. Other is basic amenities. Sanitation, nutrition will come under this basic amenities. Basic amenities. Any other thing? Basic amenities. Other is even equal opportunities to all. Uh, Equal opportunities. Opportunities are not only job opportunities. Opportunities could be education, health, other basic things. So opportunities you are having in mind job opportunities. So for everything, like for accessing basic things, equal opportunities, there should not be any discrimination. And even women empowerment is a component, because women empowerment will is related with this equal opportunities for all. Clear? So these things in general are needed to enhance human capability. If people should be healthy, educated, trained. Okay, they should get basic amenities so that they should be fully developed. So one thing is that to make people employable. Now second, what we have to do then, people are healthy, educated, skilled. Then second thing, we have to create jobs, employment generation. Now how to create jobs? So employment generation, like one which how where if you want to work, where will you be working? Either government job or in private sector. Private sector, where will you work in private sector? Organization is which kind of organization? Mainly business. So if you will establish a business company, you have to make investment. So one most important thing is to promote investment. Is establishing new factory. It may be called capital formation. We'll discuss in detail capital formation. So which is government scheme, most important scheme to promote investment, to encourage establishment of business in India. Most important is make in India. We will discuss in much detail actually these things. So I'm just giving you reference, because in industry it is long topic, make in India. Okay, so focus of make in India is on which thing? In one word. In mainly improving which thing? Improving how to promote investment. This is objective. How? To, to improve ease of doing business by reducing the procedural aspects and making it easier for doing business. Okay, improving business environment. Okay, ease of doing business. In detail we will discuss. Like proceed hurdles, etc. should be less. Okay, other is like if a person is unemployed, so either you can do job in a company or you may establish your own company. So then we will call it entrepreneurship development. Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship development, like we should enable people to establish their own business, like Startup India schemes. for that, like Startup India, Stand Up India. Okay, Startup India, Stand Up India, even Mudra to some extent, Mudra Yojana. Okay, so we will discuss in detail as I told you. Other thing that what type of companies create more jobs, small or big? Usually small companies are more labor intensive. So support to micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME. Support to micro, small and medium. Support to micro, small and medium enterprises. Because why, government is consistently supporting the small companies, MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises. Why? Because of the most important reason is that they are important for employment generation. So from independence till now, a lot of schemes are there to support this. Even Mudra Yojana, a lot of schemes are there. Separately, we will discuss. Okay, all of these topics are we will discuss actually in detail, like MSME, this investment, etc. Other is what other things common can do? Like some sectors, just like MSMEs are more labor intensive, especially some sectors are more labor intensive. So shall government promote that? Yes. So support to labor intensive sector, support to labor intensive sector. Can you give me example of labor intensive sector? Textile, textiles or garment industry, textile, or maybe called clothing. Any other? Other is uh, not so much. Infrastructure not so much. So textiles industry. Other is this footwear including leather, footwear and leather. Other food processing industry. So food processing industry. That is why I mentioned separately in your labor. So food processing industry. Other sector, construction. So construction sector. So these are highly labor intensive sectors. Okay, so government has been supporting these or not? Yes. Even 2 years back, there was a chapter in economic survey, clothes and shoes. Clothes and shoes, why? These clothes means they have mentioned in the chapter that these sectors are highly labor intensive, means apparel sector like ready-made garments, and shoes means related with the footwear and leather sector. So these are highly labor intensive, and there is significant scope of export potential also. There are some benefits. So government provided one package for these sectors. Okay, and these sectors are being supported by government because of this thing. Okay, other is that government can start some programs to create jobs, like employment generation program. But what is full name of those employment generation program, like Manrega? So what is Manrega is put under which category? Employment generation program. What is full name of that category? No, that is called poverty alleviation and employment generation program. So poverty alleviation and employment generation program. Poverty alleviation and employment generation program. Okay, so poverty alleviation and employment generation program. Okay, so so these are actually interrelated, like Manrega and lot of other programs are there. So Manrega means, under Manrega, what happens is like road is constructed or minor irrigation or some trees are planted. What is benefit? One thing is that one infrastructure developed like road, etc. And second, people get jobs. The focus on jobs. And other kind of schemes are self-employment programs, where government will give training and then bank will provide loan so that you can set up your own small business. So that are self-employment. So in detail we will discuss later. So employment generation, these are some important measures for employment generation. Okay, in unemployment next chapter we will also revisit these things again. Okay, but in detail separate sections we will take up. Okay, so we are talking about inclusive growth. So what is needed for inclusive? What are features or components? Components are we have to enhance capability of people, make them employable, and we have to create job for people so that everybody will be employed. So then it will lead to inclusive growth. So difference I think is clear between economic development and inclusive growth. So do you think the policy makers should also be sensitive towards the process also or not? Should they just enhance focus on enhancing well-being? Process is also important because process should also be just inclusive process should be there, and that process will lead to more self-sustained growth. The difference is clear. Okay, so three concepts we have discussed: economic growth, economic development. Those are very clear. And but here minor difference here is so in the last 2 decades, as I told you, so there is the economists are saying it just not government should not just focus on anything well-being, but also should also be sensitive towards the process. Okay, even in means one question was asked on the inclusive growth. Means what are features of inclusive growth? And second component, do you think India is experiencing such a growth process? And third point in third section was that suggest measures to achieve inclusive growth. So first thing is that means features of inclusive growth. So simply you have to give definition. You can give definition and these are features. Okay. Now India is experiencing, but I have not discussed anything. But on the basis of whatever you have idea, so India has been experiencing such a growth process. Yes or no? Yes, no, partial. Hmm? Obviously, answer is partial. So because as far as growth is concerned, we are one of the fastest growing economy in the world. So rather in this chapter, like in indices and next chapter about Indian economy, I will give you much data about this. I just give brief idea. So obviously answer is partial and more close to yes or no. Rather more close to no. More close to no in the sense it will be clear in the next section when I give you India's ranking in various human development indices, various indices which measures well-being. So as far as growth is concerned, we are one of the fastest growing economy in the world in the last 3 decades. Growth is very high. But were we successful in converting growth into development? No. So if our rank on most of the social variables actually indicators is very low. So I will give you actually data in various actually indices. So partial, okay, not much. Although growth has been very high, but we were not very successful to convert that growth into inclusive growth. This is the has been a problem. Even jobless growth I will discuss separately in the next chapter in common. So overall, I will give you data in that. Now the third part is that suggest measures. So what we can suggest? Simply, government should focus in this. Social sector expenditure should be increased. Effectiveness of development programs should be increased, and on job creation, these measures. Okay, so suggestion will be related to this. Okay, just I give you ID, but things are interrelated, interdependent. So in writing means answer, you have to correlate from other things also. Okay, so this is just this idea I give you. Okay, so we have discussed these three concepts. Now another concept is human development. Human development. So human development is what is human development? Can we say enhancing well-being of people? Yes. So just write down one definition of UNDP. So mention that as per UNDP. Okay, as per UNDP in inverted commas, it is the process of widening people's choices. Widening people's choices. People's choices. Widening people's choices. As well as raising the level of well-being. Widening people's choices as well as raising the level of well-being achieved. As well as raising the level of well-being achieved. Is whatever level of well-being which is already achieved, we have to further enhance that level of well-being. The process of widening people's choices as well as raising the level of well-being achieved. So whatever level of well-being we have achieved, we have to further enhance that level of well-being. Can we see and what is meaning of choices? You know, First, I'll explain the second component as well as raising the level of well-being achieved. So whatever level of well-being achieved, we have to enhance that well-being. So human development means enhancing well-being. And first component in that process of widening people's choices. So actually, widening people's choices means we should increase the choices to the people. So normally with development, choices increases or not? Yes. For example, poor people, do they have much choices? No, they don't have much choices. Choice means a poor person has to take lunch, so can go to any restaurant. No, has to reside, can rent accommodation in anywhere. No, want to send children to school, so obviously selected options are there. So normally with development, choices with people increases or not? And can we say increasing widening of people's choices, does it reflect welfare? Yes, because you have more choice, you have more options, you will select which option which will give you more satisfaction. So when choices will increase, the scope of well-being will, so both are almost same. So in simple words, definition is not very important here. Only should have idea that enhancing well-being is human development. Okay, so definition, I just gave you definition, but not very important. Inclusive growth is a very important concept. So question can again be asked, but only idea that enhancing welfare. So both are almost similar. Enhancing choices and enhancing well-being in human development. Now, can you tell me difference in it is close to which concept? Economic growth, economic development, economic development. Now, can you tell me difference between economic development and human development? Can you tell me difference? Very close. Economic development and human development. Hmm? Hmm? There is also production, not as such. So, production without production, welfare will not be possible. Main difference. Can you tell me difference development and human development? Actually, it's very difficult because very close. Hmm? Outcome, but this is also outcome. Human welfare, human development is also same. No, actually, it's very difficult. Actually, both are almost same or rather same. But what is difference then? Difference is in perspective. So difference in the two is perspective. Here, when we are talking from a human perspective, enhancing well-being of people, we mean what? Human development. When we are talking about enhancing well-being of people in an economy, then we mean okay. So when we are talking about human perspective in general, then human development, enhancing well-being. Okay, and when we are talking about enhancing well-being of people in an economy, then economic development. What the point? So what is relation? Can we say economic development means what? Or you mentioned this thing, human development, human development in an economy is economic development. Human development in an economy. So when we talk about human development in the context of an economy, then that is economic development. Clear? So actually the difference is in perspective. Concept is same here, well-being, human well-being, but the perspective is a human perspective in general when we talking about enhancing well-being of people, and when we talk in the context of an economy, then becomes economic. As I told you, human development index. What is indicator of this? HDI. So human development index measures what? Economic development, but does not measure human development. Human development index, so it measures human development. But since it measures human development from the in our economy, like in India and other countries, then we may call it economic development. Logic is clear. So both concepts are almost same. The only difference is in perspective. It is general human perspective. It is in the context of an economy. Okay? If I say enhancing well-being of people, what does it mean? Human development. And if I say in this economy, then economic development. Okay? Okay. Another term is human resource development. This human resource development, HRD. So can you tell me meaning of human resource development? So which is broader, human development or human resource development? Human development. Hmm? Why? Human resource development. Human resource को develop किया तो this is broader. Resource word is there in this. So this is long. Resource means it will become more resourceful. Hmm? Capabilities. Okay, just write down definition then. Just tell me. So it refers to the simple definition. It refers to the process of enhancing productive potential of human beings. It refers to the process of enhancing productive potential of human beings. Enhancing productive potential of human beings. Process of enhancing productive potential of human beings. So enhancing productive potential of human beings. So what is meaning of productive potential? Like we have to provide them health facilities, people should be healthy, educated, skilled. So then actually productivity will increase. Now can you tell me which is now broader? Human development. Why? Why it is narrow? It does not cover health. No, why not? If people will not be healthy, how they will be contributing to production? So, so overall difference is very significant here. So this answer is to be very easy. Then which is broader? Obviously, human development. Actually, human resource development is very narrow concept. Here, it used not to enhance well-being. Here, it means enhancing well-being of people. And here, objective is not to enhance well-being. Objective is to enhance to make people more productive. Objective is to make people more productive. It means that it views human beings merely as what? Merely as a productive resource. Okay, so it views human beings merely as a productive resource. Clear? So, and here overall development of human beings. Any doubt in this? So here focus is to enhance productivity of people. The people should become more productive. They should be educated, skilled, healthy. But here focus is to overall level of well-being. It would it include social cultural factors as such? Here social cultural psychological factors will be covered here also. So here focus on enhancing productivity only, and here focus on enhancing overall welfare. Okay, and it views human beings merely as a productive resource, nothing more than that. Just like we can make invest in material things, we can make machinery factories, production will increase. We can invest similarly, we can invest in human beings to make them more productive by education. So this is very nice. Clear? Human resource development means के enhancing productivity of human beings. हाँ. So human resource development include है नहीं है? Anybody can answer? Yes, why not? Everything, all aspects, overall well-being. So education, health, literacy, job, everything is important for enhancing well-being of people. Why not? Reduced use measure can help, like enhancing well-being for people to get access to basic amenities if they will get subsidy, etc. Okay, so human resource development, there's a term called human capital formation. So human capital formation is more close to which one? Human capital formation. Like capital means mainly machinery factory in general. But when we say that is economic capital or physical capital, and human capital, so can we say it is same as human capital formation? Yes or yes? Yes, same. Human capital formation. So it is same as human capital formation. So human, like when we invest in material things, machine, we can make physical capital, machinery. And if we invest in human beings in the form of education training, we are creating human capital. The both will increase productivity production. Either we invest in machinery, physical things, or we invest in human beings. So both will increase productivity production. So clear? So human resource development and human capital formation are exactly same. So any doubt in this, the concept? Okay. Another is what are types of capital? One, as I told you, or physical. Economic or physical capital. What is this economic capital or physical capital? It includes machinery, factory, equipment, etc. Means physical stock of machinery, factory, capital. Normally, when we say capital in economics, we mean this machinery, factory. Okay, so physical capital or economic capital means machinery, factory. Okay, equipment, etc. So which will help in increasing production. So capital means anything which assists production. Okay, so machinery, factory assists production, increases productivity. No. Then is human capital. So can you tell me what is human capital? Uh, that is what? Uh, it means human resources. Human capital means human resources. Human resources. Or in other words, we can say a quantity and quality of labor force. Mainly labor force. Quantity and quality of labor force. Mainly labor force. Labor force means all people are included in labor force. No, only working is people who are willing to work, who are available for work or maybe working. So labor force quantity means how much labor force is there, and more people, more labor force, more human capital. And quality means their education, skill, health level of labor force. That is actually human capital. Okay, quantity means that labor force, more people, more labor force means more human capital, and more skilled, educated than more human capital. So clear, human capital. Any doubt? One more capital, social capital. Social capital. So what is social capital? Social capital means social things. What? Relations among people, interaction, etc. So it includes what? It includes interpersonal relations, interpersonal relations, mutual trust, mutual trust, coordination, coordination, etc. among people or labor force even. So interpersonal relations, mutual trust, coordination, cooperation among people. Okay, that is called social capital. This is social aspect. Okay. Now for increasing production, do we need all three? Obviously, machinery factory, better quality of machine factory, then more production, more educated labor, skilled labor can production more. Even this is important or not? Yes, this may be possible as people are highly educated, skilled, trained, but there are ego clashes. There are actually, means tussle between the workers, etc. So can production be affected or not? Yes. So even social capital is also important for a nation or any organization. So these are three types of capital: economic or physical capital, then human capital, and social capital. So in prelims this year they have asked what is social capital. Okay, so Clear? I think meaning of capital. This I have just deviated because I have used the word capital word here. So what is meaning of capital? But capital is actually used in very various means. Even money invested in a business may be called capital. So capital may be used in different contexts. But in economics, when we use the word capital, we mean this thing. In general, machinery factory. Okay, other thing maybe money invested in a business. And money uses for day-to-day transactions of business is called working capital. So we'll discuss later other meanings of capital. But in general, capital means this thing. Clear? Apart from that, there is a word uh, standard of living. This is not just economics, rather English word. Standard of living. So, what is the standard of living? Any idea? Standard of living. Can you express the standard of living in words? This is English word as such, not as such an economic term, but we will be using this. So, standard of living is broad or narrow? Broad. So, what is meaning of standard of living? Quality of life. In means two marker question was asked. What is quality of life? Is it same as quality of life? No. So what is standard of living? Hmm? Related to other indicators. Remember per capita income. Correct? Hmm? Yes. So if it is determined by per capita income, what does this reflect? It shows what? Standard of living shows what? The standard of living shows economic growth. It shows what access to material things, material goods and services. So it shows what? It shows access to material goods and services. Access to material goods and services. So to what extent you have material goods and your access to material goods and services depends on what? Per capita income. Yeah. More income, more goods you can buy. Higher standard of living you can enjoy, more goods and services. Okay, so it is measured by which thing? Measured by per capita income. Okay, so per capita income reflects the standard of living, or rather we may call it real per capita income also. Okay, so per capita income of a country shows what is standard of living, how much people have material access to material goods and services. Clear? So does it include standard of living? Does also include social factors, cultural factors? Yes or no? No. It does not reflect social factor, cultural factor, psychological factor. If a person actually is actually very frustrated and maybe highly tense and is frustrated, but person may be very rich, may have lot of wealth, possible. So standard of living of that person will be high or low? Will be very high. Person is very rich, have lot of goods and services, but may be frustrated. So that welfare is reflected here. No, it does not reflect. It shows material things only. Clear? And what is quality of life? So in means two marker question was asked, what is quality of life? Now can you explain quality of life? Life expectancy, not as such. Quality of life, which is broader, quality of life or standard of living? Quality of life. So it shows which thing? Hmm? Well, well-being, health, well-being. Can we say it shows well-being, welfare? Hmm? Yes, it shows well-being, level of well-being actually. Well-being or level of well-being. So quality of life means well-being level. Okay, can you interrelate between the economic development is related with which concept? Standard of living or quality of life? Quality of life. So can you give me uh, relation between quality of life and economic development? In one sentence, can you use these words? quality of life and economic development. Economic development reflects what, or this reflects which aspect reflects this? Hmm? Economic development, more the economic development, better the quality of life. Yes, actually, what is economic development? Economic development means improvement in quality of life. If quality of life is improving, means welfare is improving, and that is economic development. So this is almost same. But economic development is a economic term. This is just an English word. Although in economics, they have in means they have asked this two marker, what is quality of life? I think clear. There is an index. We'll discuss physical quality of life index. Okay, so after this, we'll discuss. Hmm, no, not affordability as such. Affordability you can link this with. If you can you have access to this good or not? That shows this affordability. Here it has various aspects. Can we say standard of living is also a part of this? Yes. Well-being will depend on this also, access to material things. Because a person may not have money, person cannot be, quality of life cannot be good actually. So this is much broader. And enhancing this is economic development. Any doubt? So clear, because okay, things are, learning is you should discriminate how it is similar, how it is different from other things. And until unless you correlate things, see how they are different, similar, so you won't get a holistic view. Otherwise, there will always be confusion. So here, I think it should be clear now. Concepts. Okay, one more concept now, relative development, the last concept, but which is very different from others. Okay, clear. I again give you recap. We have discussed how many concepts. Economic growth simply means production of goods and services in an economy. Okay, and economic development means increase in production as well as welfare, or simply welfare. Okay, then we have discussed inclusive growth, that is welfare along with in a participative process focus on employment. Okay, and I told you human development is almost same as economic development. When we say enhancing well-being of people, we mean this. When we say enhancing well-being in an economy, then it becomes economic development. Human capital formation or human resource development is narrow, and the focus is to enhance well-being, not well-being, productivity of human beings. Focus on increasing productivity, productive potential only. Okay, clear. So, and standard of living is very narrow. This shows access to material goods and measured by per capita income. And enhancing quality of life simply means economic development or human development. Okay, now last concept in this, but which is very different from these concepts, that is sustainable development. Now, how many concepts we have discussed? Five, I think. This is sustainable development. So, can you tell me what is sustainable development? Yes. So, development, keeping in mind the resource availability for future, it means that the development that could be sustained in future. Okay. So I think very clear. So we have to take care mainly with development. Actually, process should be sustainable. And which thing is threatening sustainability? Can we say environmental degradation is affecting sustainability? Resources depletion is. So we have to take care of resources, environment along with development. That is sustainable development. Okay, to mention this. So this is somewhat different because mainly environmental aspect is there in this. So mention this thing. It refers to that process refers to the process of development, the process of economic development refers to the process of economic development that can be sustained in future. Process of economic development that can be sustained in future. Process of economic development that can be sustained in future. Okay, but one famous, this is very simple definition. Now one famous definition is given by one organization, which rather one commission. So write down name of the commission, that is UN World Commission on environment and development. The UN World Commission, UNWCED, UN World Commission on Environment and Development. The UN World Commission on Environment and Development. This commission was headed by which person? Mrs. Brundtland, Brundtland, Brundtland. Brundtland. So she was actually it was a summit. Summit means attended by heads of state. So she was Prime Minister of Norway. So it gave one report in 1987, and the name of that report was Our Common Future. Our Common Future. In that document, in that Our Common Future, one definition was given which is commonly used. In most of the books you might have read that definition. Okay. So, but actually this first commission when is not so important. Second is much more important. It was the same commission was constituted again in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro, and that is called Earth Summit. So Earth Summit is more important because some decisions were taken to reduce pollution, etc. But definition given by this first commission is very famous. So write down the definition given by this commission. So mention this. The commission defined it as the commission defined it means sustainable development as in inverted commas development that meets sustainable development as the development that meets the needs of present that meets the needs of present without compromising that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations without compromising the ability of future generations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Okay, so what is this development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs? It means that the development process will be sustainable if the present generation, like we will be meeting our needs actually of development, we should develop in such a manner which will not compromise the ability of future generations in meeting their own needs. It means that in development process, whatever opportunities we have, we should leave the similar opportunities for coming generations. For example, some resources are limited. If we use up all resources, then our future generation may not have access to those resources, like for example, fossil fuels. So if we will use up this coal, petroleum, then there will not be such resource in future. Apart from that, we are normally gradually degrading environment. Then in future, even this level of development could not be possible. Even living will be difficult actually. So overall, we should develop in such a manner. In development, actually, we should ensure that future generations can continue this process. The level should not come down because what we did in the last 100 years or 200 years, if we repeat that, then a time would come after 100 years or 500 years, time would come we will be having ACs, cars, but we won't be having fuel to run them. And apart from that, just like environment is degrading, then it will be difficult to breathe also. So even surviving will be difficult. Development will be a next step towards that. So this is the problem. We have to take care of environmental resources. So can we say it is related with what? Intergenerational equity? Yes or no? Yes. So mention this thing. It calls for intergenerational equity. It calls for intergenerational equity. So what is meaning of intergenerational equity? Intergenerational equity means कि whatever opportunities we have, our generation, future generation should have similar opportunities. We should not reduce their opportunities. Okay. Normally, human activities degrade environment. Yes or no? Yes. But to some extent, environment can rejuvenate itself. Yes or no? For example, we emit carbon dioxide, but plants can convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. So, but there is a capacity of environment or not? How much carbon dioxide they can convert to oxygen? Yes. If we emit carbon dioxide within that limit, no problem. Plants can convert it into oxygen, no problem. But if we emit carbon dioxide beyond that capacity, then percentage of carbon dioxide will start increasing in air, global warming, etc. The problem. So what is that limit? No problem, we may degrade environment, but within the limit within which environment can rejuvenate itself. What is the name of that limit? Hmm? The limit to which environment can rejuvenate itself, can absorb our adverse impact, that is called carrying capacity. So mention this thing also. It is related with carrying capacity. It is related with carrying capacity. Related with carrying capacity, that is capacity of environment, that is capacity of environment to absorb, that is capacity of environment to absorb adverse impact of human activity. Capacity of environment to absorb adverse impact of human activity. Capacity of environment to absorb adverse impact of human activity. Okay, so it means that we may degrade environment, but within that limit, within carrying capacity. And if we degrade environment beyond that carrying capacity, then there will be permanent damage to environment and sustained development will be affected. In prelims, even this was asked, sustained development is related with which thing? I guess 4 5 years back. So, correct option was carrying capacity. Okay, so and what we are doing actually, we are degrading environment beyond carrying capacity, one thing. And second thing is that we are reducing carrying capacity. How? That we are actually cutting forest trees, so that will reduce the carrying capacity also. Okay, so now what are features of sustainable development? What is meaning of sustainable development here? Features will give an idea. Features of sustainable development as in short. Can we say increase in GDP or real GDP? Is it a feature of sustainable development? Increase in real GDP? Yes or no? Hmm? Yes or no? Why? Hmm? Production should increase. Why should increase? Why? Why no? Resources are limited. So increase in real GDP should be a feature. Yes or no? Common sense. Why no? What is the topic? Is it environmental protection? It is sustainable development. So production should increase. It doesn't mean that we should not develop. We should just take care of environment. We should leave our actually job and business and take care of environment. No, it is not that. So it is actually increase in real GDP. Logic is clear because objective here is not to take care of environment only. We have to develop, but in such a manner that environment should be conserved. So here social welfare is included or not? Social welfare. So we have to social welfare or well-being we have to do because we have to develop, clear, and other conservation of environment. Conservation of environment. So these are the features of sustainable development. Like we have to increase production welfare and in a sustainable manner, taking care of environment. So this is sustainable development. If we talk about first only, this is feature of this one, economic growth, and first two feature of economic development. And if we include this also, then becomes sustainable development. Okay. In other words, we can say how many dimensions are there in this dimensions. What are dimensions? Can we say it has economic dimension? Yes or no? Yes. One is economic. Can we say it has social dimension? Yes or no? Yes. Social dimension. Any other dimension? Environmental dimension. Economic dimension, social dimension, environmental dimension. Any other dimension? Hmm? Political. Political dimension is there. Yes or no? Yes. Why? Yes? Why? Yes? Anybody? Political factors are very important to achieve this objective. Anybody in favor of no? Hmm? Political factors. Can you repeat? Government policies are important to achieve this. So, but actually, it is not the dimension. No. Can you tell me logic for that? It is not dimension. Only three. No. No. Actually, political factors are important to achieve this. But don't you think political factors are also important for economic growth also? Everything important? But it's not a part of this concept. Political factors are important to achieve this, but it's not a part of this concept as such. Okay, it has only three dimensions. So what's the point here? The political factors are important to achieve this, but it's not a part of this concept as such. Clear? So only three dimensions are there, not political. This is a common confusion that political factors are important to become part of this. No. So political factors are important to achieve this concept, but it's not a part of this concept as such. So these are related with these features. Economic dimension reflected here, social dimension reflected here, environmental dimension reflected here. Clear? And these are interrelated or independent dimensions. Social, economic, environmental, interrelated. So normally in books, usually they make this kind of circle, this kind of Venn diagram, okay, like economic, social, and environmental. So these are interrelated concepts. Clear? So three-dimensional concept. Now, how we measure sustainable development? So what are indicators? So indicators of sustainable development. So GDP, economic growth we measure by GDP, real GDP. Economic development, but by HDI. So which GDP is used? Which is used? Actually, it is used real GDP. No, not real, rather green GDP. Green GDP. So indicator here is green GDP. So what is green GDP? So actually, in green GDP, what we do in production process, there is some environmental degradation or not? Yes. So we give money value to that and minus that from the GDP, from the value of GDP. GDP is value of goods produced. From that, whatever is money value, environmental degradation, we minus that in this manner. Just to mention this, it is, it is the adjusted for GDP adjusted for the cost of environmental degradation. It is the GDP adjusted for the cost of environmental degradation. GDP adjusted for the cost of environmental degradation. GDP adjusted for the cost of environmental degradation. Cost of environmental degradation. Okay, GDP adjusted for the cost of environmental degradation. So whatever is degradation to environment is GDP adjusted for that. So simply value of goods and services produced minus the money value. We have to give money value to pollution, depletion of resources, etc. And then this matter. So if GDP, green GDP is increasing, that is saying we are sustainable development. Okay, and but estimation of this environmental cost actually is easy. Money value of environmental degradation. So it is very difficult. But some countries have their own conventions to give money value to pollution and other resource depletion, etc. So they estimate. In India, we don't measure till now, but we are planning to introduce this concept in India. So till now, for us, it is by and large theoretical only. Because practically, when it will be adopted, then it will become more important to what are norms for measuring green. Okay, so by and large theoretical concept. Even in means two marker question was asked on this, what is green GDP earlier. Other is genuine savings. Genuine saving. So saving actually why saving is related with sustainable development. Any reason why saving is related with sustainable development? Any reason? Any logic? Because why people save for future? So it is the future. We should not consume everything. We should keep something for future. But it should not be just saving. It should be genuine saving. Now, what is genuine saving? So genuine saving means from total saving is called gross savings. From gross savings or total savings, we have to minus two things from gross savings. We have to minus depreciation in man-made capital as well as depreciation in natural capital. Man-made capital like machinery factory we have made. So gross savings minus depreciation. Gross savings means total savings. Means whatever money we save, that is saving. Gross savings. Depreciation in man-made capital. So depreciation in man-made capital minus depreciation in natural capital. So gross savings equal to what? Depreciation in man-made capital minus depreciation in natural capital. Okay, so what is man-made capital? Like machinery factory. Yes. Normally when we say capital stock, as we told you, physical capital means machinery factory. So that is and technically when we minus this from gross, it will become net saving or net investment. Okay, so and when we minus natural capital depreciation also, we get genuine saving. But estimation of this natural capital is easy to. No, it is very subjective. Even concept natural capital is also itself subjective. So capital means anything which assists in production, productivity. Now, what are the natural factors which assist in production, productivity? That is very actually subjective. Even concept is subjective. So practically not estimated. Just actually a theoretical concept. If we should minus depreciation in machinery factory, because normally savings are used for investment, which increases value of machinery factory. So we say gross investment means the money we have invested, and net investment means total investment minus the depreciation in machinery. So shows net increase in value of machinery. So net investment, and from net we minus this also we get genuine savings. Okay, so just theoretical concept, not practically actually measured as such. Okay, these are indicators, and some other indicators are also there. Other is now threat to sustainable development. So what are threats? Any doubt? concept. Sustainable development means development that can be sustained in future. Very simple. The process of development which can sustain. And the problem which actually affects sustainability is the degradation of environment and depletion of resources. This is the process which should, in development, we have to take care of resources and environment so that that process will continue in future. So definition is that development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It means that we shall meet our needs, we shall increase production of goods and services in such a manner which will continue, which will not compromise the ability of future generations. Resources should be safe. And teachers, I told you, production should increase, social welfare means we should develop, but taking care of environment. Simple. Okay, so three dimensions are there: social, economic, environmental. Now threats. So threats will make it more clear. So threats are one is actually depletion of resources, depletion of depletion of resources. And do we need resources for development or not? For producing? Yes, but if resources will be depleted, may not be there, then this development may not uh, be possible. Continue. Okay, and resources are of two types: renewable and non-renewable. So which is more important to say? Non-renewable because we have limited in quantity, so we have to be cautious, especially for non-renewable resources. Other is degradation of environment, degradation of environment, degradation of environment. Any example? Example like pollution, any type of pollution, air, water, etc. Other like deforestation. Okay, other global warming is a impact rather. Other is like soil erosion, salination, etc. So lot of so in actually this is an interdisciplinary concept. Now this aspect actually you will discuss in geography and environment in detail. And one more thing which is related to this, what is that? That is actually loss of biodiversity. Loss of biodiversity. Like, animal species and plant species are increasing or decreasing. They are reducing in general. What is problem? If some plant and animal species may not be there in future, what will be problem? So problem could be that food chain may be affected actually. So food chain may be affected, and this it may affect ecological cycle. Ecological cycle will be affected, so it may lead to natural disasters. Apart from that, like we use some animals, plants for food and medicine, we won't have access to that food and medicine. So these are the problems. These are mainly interrelated things. So threats are mainly these. And now actually suggestions, now measures to promote sustainable development. Now how we can promote sustainable development? So as I told you, you will discuss mainly most of the dimensions in geography or environmental section. I'll give you a brief idea. Like first of all, relating to non-renewable resources, the cautious use of non-renewable resources, very simple, like petrol, diesel, etc. We should use coal within limits. One thing. Second, two, other is that we have to focus more on which non-renewable resources, like which like solar energy, wind energy, nuclear energy, etc. So that okay. Now, can we say we can use non-renewable resources to maximum possible? Not all. Like water is a renewable resource as such. But if we overuse water, then there will be scarcity of water also. Like ground water table is going down because of excessive actually withdrawal of groundwater. So even some resources have limits. So we have to take care of those limits. Other is that can we say technology may help in this? Yes, technology may help like because the cars, which conform to higher environmental norms, like Bharat stage 4, 5, 6. So those actually cars, they pollute less, and they consume more or less fuel. Less fuel. So one resources could be saved, and other is pollution could be reduced. So technology can help actually in achieving this. Apart from that, regarding resources and other is that like in general, uh, environmental in general, this is we have to take care of the environment like laws, etc. Enforcement should be improved. Other aspect, is like in industry, we should not produce non-biodegradable things like polythene, etc. Recently, government has already banned. Other is actually now focus should be on recycling or mining, recycling rather than mining, because two benefits are there. Mining will reduce our resources as well as and may create more pollution. So recycling will save resources. On the other hand, will reduce pollution also. So mining in agriculture sector, organic farming and environmentally friendly techniques, production, natural farming, organic farming, zero budget natural farming, etc. So farming techniques should be such that okay, proper crop rotation, etc. Okay, now pure economic actually aspect. I will discuss 2 points from pure economic aspect. So economic aspect, one is product subsidies. Product subsidies to be replaced by direct benefit transfer. Product subsidies to be replaced by direct benefit transfer (DBT). So DBT, you might have heard of DBT, direct benefit transfer. Here, money is directly transferred, the subsidy in the account of beneficiary, instead of actually giving the subsidy on a product. Just like earlier, you were buying LPG, the government was giving subsidy on the LPG, so it was cheaper actually, because a part was paid by government to company. The company was charging less from you. Now you have to pay full price of you have to pay full price for LPG cylinder, and then the amount of subsidy is transferred in your account. Okay, so what is benefit of it? Because product subsidy, why it should be abolished? It should be abolished because it promotes resource overuse. It promotes resource overuse and wastage. Product subsidy actually how? Because it reduces price. Rather, we can say product subsidy reduce price, and since price will reduce, this will create this problem. Product subsidy reduces price, and when things are cheaper, people overuse. Okay, like we will discuss demand curve. So when things are cheaper, people buy more in general. So when product subsidy reduce price, and when price is less, people overconsume. People don't bother much about, because once LPG was subsidized, so people were misusing it very large scale. So people were using for not only for cooking but for heating, lighting, for running vehicles on that. So things are cheaper than they are misused. Just like electricity is subsidized, so bill is not much or bill is low, so hardly you bother about switching off your light. Okay, it's a matter of 3 4 hours. So it's when things are cheaper, people overuse that. So resource it leads to resource waste. So I think it's clear. So this DBT we will discuss. This is very important scheme which will not reduce only leakages and mistargeting and other problem, but also is important for environmental conservation. Yes. Other thing is that poverty should be reduced. Poverty should be reduced. Acha, why poverty should be reduced? Because it is important for actually for we can say social welfare, obviously, for social justice, and second thing for environmental conservation. Reason is that very poor people, they pollute more or less, they create more pollution. Okay, so very poor people, they actually degrade environment much. One example may be open defecation. Okay, so very poor people, they degrade environment much actually, they create much pollution. Hmm? Fuel wood, etc., like burning of things, etc. So they create much population pollution. So poverty reduction is important not only for achieving social objectives but also for reducing pollution. Okay, so environmental conservation also. Okay, so other one point, next point, this second and third economic issue is that market linked approaches. Market linked approach rather. Market linked approach means what? In microeconomic concept, actually, I will discuss in detail how markets work. But do you think market means the government would not intervene, leave it to demand and supply? Can it take care of environment? No. So government has to intervene to overcome this thing, because actually the example of market linked approach is that pollution taxes, example of this is pollution taxes. So I will discuss in detail how markets work. There are in some areas market fail. So market actually fail to protect environment. Simple thing is that if government would not make norms for pollution, do you think some will take care of that? No, some won't take care of that. So like pollution taxes and actually subsidies for environment friendly technologies, for environment friendly uh, technologies or products, technologies slash products. Like polythene is banned, so government may give subsidy for other alternative bags, etc. So subsidies for this. So government can actually intervene to create this, overcome this failure of market to achieve this. Okay. So market linked approaches, because market fail in this area also. So in detail I will discuss this one. So these are pure economic means points. Okay, this product actually substitutes poverty, and other general points like, if awareness among people should be increased, local bodies participation could be enhanced. Like in last year's budget, government announced one scheme, Govardhan. What is Govardhan? Like under that scheme, local bodies will promote this. They will cow dung will be put in a pit, and then it will make natural gas, as well as it will increase what natural gas, as well as compost will be produced by this. So I think it is clear. Okay, so this is all in this means today. So we'll continue then tomorrow. So this in this we have discussed actually what the concept only. Now tomorrow we'll continue with measurement, how we measure economic growth like HDI and other. Pollution taxes means if companies which are creating pollution, the government may impose some additional taxes on them.